No, I'm not going to talk about any techniques or tactics to win someone over. That's not even the correct frame to approach things. I'm here to tell you how I learnt to build courage in the face of romantic rejection, from what I say to express my interests, how strangers are no different than someone you're interested in, and the ultimate mindset to have when approaching. I don't believe in Rizz. I like getting to the point. No confusion in where you stand or playing stupid games that lead to nowhere. Polarization through honesty, vulnerability, and authenticity is the name of the game. What do I mean by polarization? Forcing a person to categorize you as a romantic interest or a platonic friend by expressing your true feelings and intentions through brutal honesty. This saves you a lot of time for yourself and the other person. Respect for one's time is one of the most attractive traits you can have. I'll note how you'll be surprised how many people, particularly women, are on the fence about you when being a potential partner or friend. Inaction causes them to slowly drift to being unreceptive to your advances. For example, in grade 11, there was a senior above me that accepted my friendly invitations to hang out and play chess. As soon as I asked her out, she became a lot more receptive, even though there were no signs of such interest before. Looking at it, if you don't make a move, you risk moving to the friend zone. Make a move, and you might risk rejection with the possibility of reciprocation. So, you risk more doing nothing than if you did anything at all. Like the classic saying goes, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. My framework for approaching. It's not a script per se, but it's quite simple. If you want to follow my framework, this is usually my go-to. Hey, I know this is going to sound really forward, but I think your insert compliment, then insert call to action. You might ask, why do you add, this is going to sound really forward part? If you're a normal human being, you're going to know about the unsaid rules of social interaction. Going up to someone and saying you like them is unusual. Breaking some of these social rules, labeling you as weird or incompetent at human interaction. To get around this, you have to show a level of self-awareness by pointing at the unusualness of your unapologetic authenticity. Remember, you're ultimately starting a conversation. From the get-go, you're framing the conversation as, I find you attractive and I want to know more about you to see if we're compatible. What should I say in the conversation then? Whatever the hell you want. What matters more is the original intention for starting the conversation, because the actual words you say don't matter so much compared to why and how you say them. Do not play a false character. Show your true self, and this authenticity will push them to like you or reject you. It's really that simple. But I always find the hardest part is walking up to them, only because you're battling with yourself, your fears and anxieties. I'm writing a more extensive YouTube video about rejection and how to deal with it. For the sake of this piece, I must say that you must do it a number of times before you start becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. But the greatest feeling is a sense of relief, that you managed to muster up the courage in spite of fear. In grade 10, there was a girl in my Japanese and art class who I thought was cute. I liked her the previous year, but I never had the guts to approach her. We then had a Zoom session with our Japanese sister school. I made a stupid mistake. Sluggishly, I asked the Japanese high schoolers in Japanese if they had boyfriends during the call. Immediately, one of my Japanese teachers scolded me for my poor form. Well, deservingly. In saying that, I think this same girl took my stupidity as confidence. At the time, I was uploading videos to my Minecraft channel, which I have deleted. Then after the Zoom session incident, she commented on one of my videos saying she liked my content. A few days later, she approached me in person saying, are you the guy? I said, yeah, cool. Then she ran off. I sort of picked up how she liked me, eventually getting verbal confirmation from her friend that she actually liked me. Yet, I was still flustered to ask her out. Friday rolled around and I said to myself I would do it. It was second break. Even knowing the interaction will be a success, I still felt nervous in spite of this fact, saying stuff like, what do I say to her? So I went up to her while she was with a friend. As I approached, she saw me and physically hid behind her. And then I said, hey, I think you're pretty. Can I get your phone number? Did I get the number? I did, but nothing came to fruition. The main takeaway is although I didn't get on any dates with this person, I still give myself a pat on the back for approaching in person and leaning into my fear. From having done approaches like these, I learnt another important lesson. If you struggle to approach strangers, don't think you can with a romantic interest. Before we go any further, let's take a step back. People tend to put the cart before the horse, including yours truly. The problem I had was approaching strangers in general, whether it was someone from school, asking the store clerk or food server at a fast food place. Now, in hindsight, they are not two separate skills. They are the same skill, just with a different context. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and maybe Mark Manson's models if you want something specifically on healthy, non-toxic dating. And what if I'm good at talking with people, just not with people I'm attracted to? I'll take a page from models. Use exposure therapy, which was something I should have done instead of going straight for the deep end. Ask yourself, can you ask a stranger for the time? Ask them for directions. Ask how they are. Make an observation about them. Maintain a conversation. Again, you can be in two schools of thoughts. Fail hard and learn fast, or gradually build and ease yourself in. And if you're terrified of asking the number or date, just do a compliment. It's a simple way of giving a bit of appreciation without asking anything in return. And what is the worst thing that they will say? Thank you? I recommend though to not overdo it with complimenting looks, as it's a bit superficial, as anyone can call anyone beautiful. But it takes another degree of attention to notice someone's value other than their looks. And if you're just starting out, focusing on just complimenting will give you enough difficulty for growth, but not so much that you will outright fail. Overthinking will be your worst enemy. However, I will share a story about my first experience giving a compliment in person. I backed myself in a corner. It was during our school's 2019 Japan study tour, and I told the boys, if I don't compliment her by midnight, you have my permission to beat me up in the hotel room. Midnight was slowly approaching. I kept pacing up and down the hotel hallway, letting the anxiety eat away at me. With the help of someone, I cannot remember, they pushed me into a room. She emerged, and I felt like a knight facing a dragon. Stuttering and lost for breath, I spurted out, I think you're cute, and ran away from the room. In the same hallway, even though I thought I was rejected, I gave myself fist bumps in the air and hyped myself up. I learnt that the gold is not found after defeating the dragon, but is found when you have the courage to face your fear. You either approach or you don't, no half measures. However, my first time was a half measure, because I find what happens is when you're still thinking about the risk of vulnerability and haven't taken that leap of faith, you're mentally stuttering, which transfers onto your speech. The fear takes control of you rather than you of it. Breathing and slowly saying your words can help with becoming more comfortable with the anxiety of giving a compliment or asking someone out. The outcome, whether positive or negative, should not detract the ultimate measure of success, the action itself, which leads to my ultimate point of approaching. You're already successful when you approach. Much like success, the goal is not the outcome. It's not about the track record of how successful you were with each interactions. In fact, success is the process. Paradoxically, if you focus on the process, the outcome will take care of itself. Starting conversations with your intentions already clear, attaining relief knowing you tried in spite of your fear. The point is maximizing each opportunity to give value, building your courage and character, which may develop into a meaningful relationship. And that, my friend, is the ultimate form of Rizz.